Hmm. Hey everybody. I felt really bad about the meeting that we were supposed to have. So I put this little video together and hopefully this will make it a little easier. This might take a half an hour or longer, so just kind of bear with me. I'll try to trim it down. All right, so first things first, just to understand, ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence. It is a large language model, which means that it has been fed information from probably archive.org and all material that they could get on the internet starting in August 2021 and all the way back to digitized materials from the 1850s. So there's a lot of information that it can draw on. What it does is it gets a query from you, a question usually, or a request for help, and then it will put that together for you in an answer. It looks at all the words that you've used and all the connections that it can find in its database, and it puts that together to give you what it feels is going to be the most useful answer that you can get. So it will be very easy for it to come up with a connection between crocodiles and alligators, as those things are very similar, but cat and crocodile will be very hard. So there's a couple things that you should really understand about this. First is that as an AI, it's going to do the best that it can do for you, but that doesn't always mean that it's going to be the best solution that it can offer. Um, ChatGPT is really good at making things creative, but not very good at making things factual. It gets about 60% of math questions correct. So it's not real good with facts, but it is real good coming up with materials that are new and creative. So the second thing is because it's not real good with facts and it is real good with creative materials, it lies a lot. So whenever you have material that comes through ChatGPT, it is worth giving it a look just to make sure where it comes from and whether that is correct or not. So for instance, if you are trying to find information on the very best suits that are sold in America, you may find that 4 of the answers are accurate and correct, but that the 5th is a lie. So always check your work. Sorry about that. I had a phone issue. Okay, so just make sure that the best things that you can use it for are situations where you need to be creative. And let's look at a couple of ways that you can pull that off. I'm going to go ahead and switch over here. Um, I will go ahead and include with this a document that puts together all of this information so that you can try each of these prompts out on your own. Okay, so here we are within the Chat GPT forum. This is chat.openai.com. If you don't have your own version of this, you can find it and put it together very, very easily. You may not have been able to see any of that. Let's try this again. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and look at it together. Okay, so here we are in the Chat GPT area, and you can see that down here at the bottom, it is an area where you can ask for messages. Over here on the left, you'll find information from previous materials and the different versions of Chat GPT that you can work with. Chat GPT 3.5 is a great price point. It's free, but ChatGPT 4 is even better, has more information to pull from. It's even more humanistic sounding, but Unfortunately, 3.5 is free. So let's go ahead and start there. So, within ChatGPT, you can ask it generalized questions and it will help you. So, for instance, if I wanted to say here, just for a choice that we could have, um, please help me create a JavaScript calculator. I don't know how to do this on my own, but ChatGPT does, and here's how it will do so. It puts together the code for you. It puts together the JavaScript that you might need, um, styling if that's an option that you want, and it puts it all together for you. And this code all works. You can copy it directly from here and take it off into your other location. Similarly, you can ask it to write something for you. Please write 1,000 words on Napoleon's march to Russia. And uh-oh, won't be able to do that without violating your request. Um, Now, the reason is I've asked it in the past not to do uh, introduction or closing paragraphs, but as you can see here, um, it begins to write this for us. Um, Napoleon's invasion, and it just kind of breaks this down. Um, it can provide an overview for us, focusing on key points with concrete examples. And it goes through here and it just gives us information about each one of these things. Now, is logistics and supply issues, the Battle of Borodino, are these real things that really did happen? The Battle of 1812, for instance. Um, maybe they are important and maybe they're not. They could be ideas that we just want to look into. Um, and if we feel like we're doing something, let's say academically, or if we're doing something for a client that absolutely has to have fact, um, that started to sound long. Let's try it again. If we had to do this for someone who absolutely had to have everything perfect, it might be better for us to ask for an outline first. Um, so if I were to say also here, please help me create a 12-step plan for better office communications. And this little arrow helps us jump down to where it is. Um, it will go through here and it will tell us how to do this. You may notice it didn't ask us any questions about our current office. And so you may find that things like implement project management software to track tasks or um, plan team building exercises. Like these things are awfully general and they're not really specific to my office. So we may want to go ahead and create the kind of things that we want. Now I'm going to switch over to this document here. Um, Basic prompt engineering. Because we're working with text with ChatGPT, finding out the best way to work with that is going to be very simple. What do we want them to write like? Who are we asking them to write for? What is it that we want them to do? And what are the requirements? And these can come in any order that you want, but they don't really work. So I'm going to put this really bad prompt in here. Please write 50 Instagram headlines for me as a designer seeking new clients. That was not the prompt that I wanted. So I'm going to copy this bad prompt example. Please write 50 Instagram headlines for me as a designer seeking new clients. So here it's giving me a nice long list. but you'll see that some of these crafting experience that resonates or visual storytelling, these might not be things that are specific to me and my business, in which case that doesn't really work. So I'm going to go ahead and paste this into this new area here. And it's giving us some Instagram headlines: crafting dreams, your vision, my design. Okay, that's pretty vague. Your brand, my design expertise. 50 headlines for me. I didn't tell it anything about me. For new clients, well, what types of clients? I didn't really say. So because I haven't said, it will just give me some of these that are general. Now, something like innovative design solutions for growth, that might actually be really, really good. But you're talking one out of this set here. So it begins to become a little bit tougher to work with. So here's a better example. Writing as a social media expert with 20 years of experience working with the Google algorithm and creating social media for small businesses. Please create 50 blog post ideas for moms with kids who want a healthy summer camp experience, and please keep the headlines under 9 words, but don't use the words cheap, affordable, or free. Right? That's pretty clear as far as these go. It's a lot clearer and less vague. So now we start to see some ideas popping in here that may take this to the next level for us. Healthy summer camp for kids, mastering decisions. But even these, maybe this kind of works for me and maybe this kind of doesn't work for me. But adjusting the prompt, we can tell it yes or no or thank you or whatever. So let's just say that we could just say, please give me 50 more. And it's happy to just go ahead and provide us more. Um, you know, please give me 50 more written in the style of Mr. Beast. Now, Mr. Beast is a pretty effective um, quality individual. So now it's giving us something that's going to be along those lines because there is an individual that we know. Maybe that will work and maybe not. You can see this one seems to be focused mainly on the money side of this equation. Um, so we could just say like, uh, no, that won't work. Please give me some summer camp blog posts that will work in the style of clickbait. So now it's able to give us 50 additional ideas here. And just because we're working with this system, um, are these all going to work out? No, probably not. Um, but parents get ready, hottest summer camp trends. That might work out. Are you choosing the right camp for your kids? Find out now. This might be something that you can pick up and work with. Um, so let's just see where else we might take this. Here's one that's a little more specific for us. I work at Generate Design, a boutique design firm in Raleigh, and I want you to write a blog post for non-designers about the importance of choosing an experienced designer. Please create this with an appropriate headline, subheads, and a bulleted list. Please write this as an experienced designer with 20 years working in the field of print design. Please discuss the money to be saved on reworking or mistakes that a young designer could make. I want 1,200 words minimum, and write this for a client who's on the fence about hiring a design firm in their work or working in-house. So let's take that and let's make a new chat here. And so just like this, it's going to create a blog post that you might be able to work with. Um, and you can see here, it starts with choosing an experienced designer, smart investments, the price of using inexperienced people, the value proposition here. And then it just kind of go, here's some case studies that you might be able to throw in on your piece. And this is 1,200 words, but it's created just like that. Of course, you'll want to go in and check this work. You know, thank you. Um, Please give me another just like this about the importance of choosing the right colors when designing your projects. And so now it's going to write an article of 1,200 words that talks about all these different pieces and how this would work. And so you can see that this might be the kind of thing that could very easily help you build out blog posts for you or for other individuals, especially on your websites. So before we break more into that and things that might be a little more useful for Generate Design, let's talk about another couple of quick things that could really be helpful. Using ChatGPT to put together personas for your companies. Um, Many times my students will be making websites or they'll be making advertisements and they know kind of what their target audience is, but we can ask someone to help. So I've put down here in this prompt, I'm creating a small business website for a company with less than 25 employees. We sell used cars, trucks, and motorcycles. Please create the personas for 5 people who are looking to purchase a used vehicle. Include their demographic information, what they want in a used car, how they will use my website. Please include one specific thing they're looking for, and please output your results one at a time. And so here it's just going to go through here and it's going to build these for me. So, here we have person one, what their job is, how much money they make, what they want. Like this stuff sounds great. So I can say, please continue without stopping. Uh, please post all remaining personas at once. And okay, so it's just going to go through here now and it's going to build out persona 2, persona 3, persona 4, persona 5. This is just kind of based on the information that I have given it and that it has given us. And you could understand that, um, let's say I was to make 10 or 12 of these personas, print them out, slice them up, put them on 5x7 cards, index cards or what have you. And then once the first draft of the website is put together, sit down and just go through these one at a time. What are they looking for in the website? Are these options being met? Because they probably are. But if they're not, this is an opportunity to fix those things, or to present these directly to the client. Hey, here's 10 personas that we came up with. Do these sound like actual people that could use your website? Is there any changes you would like us to make? Are there any personas you would like us to add? Again, once you, and I say again because I say this to my students all the time, but once you give a client something to refuse, they automatically feel like the good decision was their decision. And if there was something they didn't want, they were able to cut it off before the opportunity happened, and they feel really good. Alternatively, if you give them these cards and they feel that those are perfectly accurate, once again, you have shown that you are exactly the kind of person that they want to work with, and that has a lot of great opportunities. Um, so another thing here is, here's a bad prompt because it's particularly general. What if you wanted to make a social media plan for one of your clients? And I'm going to make a new one here and paste it right in. And this just basically says, hey, writing as a social marketing engineer, can you help me develop things? And all this is in the document that I have sent, so it'd be real easy for you to pick up and have a look at. Um, but it basically says, how should I approach this? What's my social media marketing plan? And so here they're saying, for this auto dealership that we're working with, um, daily updates twice a week. You should do these things once a week. You should do these things. Identify your target audience defined by their personas, analyze successful social media strategies, balance these things, partner with local people, target these rates, use these hashtags, consider these things. And you can see that some of these start to be really vague. Use high resolution images showcasing key features. Include lifestyle shots to evoke emotions. What lifestyle? What shots? What emotions? You can take this and you can go places with this. And it really says here to adapt these strategies. Clearly state what action you want them to take. And there's a couple of options in here: visit the showroom, inquire online. But again, while this does kind of get the ball rolling for us, um, we can go ahead and follow this up by asking it to make a couple of quick changes. And so this is also in that document. Um, but this basically says, hey, this is vague, it's not specific. What times? Encourage user generated content. Well, what do those things mean? Don't give me answers like offer a prize, but be specific. Um, And you can kind of say what you want here. And, now that it's got some clarification, now it's going to give you things that are a little clearer. Like every day between 9 and 3, you should consider doing these things. Twice a week at noon, Wednesdays and Fridays, you should consider doing some of these things. Saturday, you should post some behind the scene content or day in the life at the dealership. Make them know that you're a real person. So, they make some suggestions here, maybe 70% promotional and 30% educational. Get people to want to look into the stream and see it more than just an ad. Um, so then they have some of these ideas, maybe on Fridays post, your call to action should be visit the showroom this weekend and get something if you take a test rise or whatever. So you can take something that already exists and tell them that it's not correct and you would like to have something that is a little bit better for you. And this works out quite nicely. So let's talk about another couple of specific things. Um, take this one here. This is the only one that I could really remember off the top of my head. I have a client named Bell's Car Wash that needs Facebook ads that advertise the quality of the business. Please create a series of 50 headlines that will convince a person to use the many services that Bell's has to offer. Don't focus on it being cheap, but rather focus on the way the car will look and how the customer will feel. Okay, it's 242. So now you can see, excuse me. Um, you can see it's coming up with answers. Bell's Car Wash, where perfection prevail. Gleam with pride, elevate your presence. Cars sparkle. Now all of these seem to start getting these dashes through here. Um, and maybe you don't like that, or maybe you think that's fine. Um, you can say, please give me 50 more, but without dashes. Sure. And now we'll go through here. So we'll just want to make sure it looks like they're kind of revisiting some of this content. If you did want it to stop, there's a stop button that you could say, and you can see that the dashes have come back. It kind of forgets. Um, Thank you. Please give me 50 more, uh, emphasizing how uh, sports cars will look and benefit. Um, Focus on how it will make me feel. So we'll put some more in here. You can start to see that we're getting another 50 in here. Uh, uh, Give me some for soccer moms, but don't call them soccer moms. So now it's kind of giving you a little something special here. Um, Fashion forward, from play dates to date night, stylish drives for super moms, mother approved. Um, Give me talk more about the family car and how teens need a clean ride. Now we're starting to see that as we get a little farther down this line, we're still seeing a lot of hyphens in here. We're still seeing that maybe it's starting to get a little bit closer to 9 words. So please give me 50 more with 7 words or less, and focus on um, clean cars for happy people. That's really vague, but clean cars, bright smiles. You know, some of these things are getting a little bit close, some of them maybe not so much. Please give me 50 more about the quality of the work done at Bell's. And while this is running, I'm just going to zip up here. Okay, that was right there. According to my clock on my screen, that was about 5 minutes. But in that 5 minutes, you just saw it create 350 social media headlines. Are a lot of them junk? Yeah, unfortunately. Um, but of these 50, if maybe one out of every four was able to come up with a good answer, um, you just came up with 100 good headlines for social media. That means every single week you can put together 2 social media posts, and that took you 5 minutes. So, of course, you're going to have to do a little bit of work in here. So, let's just say in an hour, it is possible that you could come up with an entire year's worth of promotions for Bell's Car Wash. Only doing a couple of minutes to get the ideas together, but the rest of the hour would probably be about breaking this up to find out what's workable and what's not workable. So you can imagine, um, if you I don't know what you charged per social media post, but let's say if you charged $25, in 5 minutes, you just earned $2,500 worth of social media headlines. But I mean, it would probably take you an hour or more to get this all divided up. And would it take you longer to take these 100 good headlines from this 350 or 400 headlines that we've just made, and then turn around and add them into the system that automatically places in the social media? Yeah. So, I mean, the problem isn't can you use this to come up with the right answers? It now becomes a logistical issue of, if you want to make a year's worth of content in 2 to 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, how long it takes to do all that, it is something that you could come to the table with pretty quickly. You could also imagine that if you were trying to pitch to a new client, being able to come into that meeting and say, here's 100 social media posts that we have. There's nothing in here about special deals. There's nothing in here about um, content. There's nothing in here about holidays. There's nothing in here about special things that are good for your organization. But if you'd like to pay $2,000, we'll give you these 100 social media posts as soon as we kick off this event. That could certainly bring a lot to the table. And of course, it'd be very easy for you to come up with another solution where you just said, yeah, thank you. Um, please, please write a a social media post for uh, number 43. Boom. So you can imagine that if you were to come up with some of these that you really, really liked, it would be very easy for you, given time, to go through and create these items. Excuse me. Um, so there's a lot to be said about going through those. Um, for instance, even here, I'm going to make a new one just so that it doesn't confuse what we're doing. I work at Generate Design, a boutique design firm in Raleigh, and I want to write several blog posts to establish our strength and place in the design community. Please come up with 50 excellent topics that will enhance our reputation with designers and clients who are trying to take the next step from small business to medium or medium to enterprise. Be factual, creating a list of unique topics that will entice and excite these individuals while filling them with the understanding that they can make this business transformation happen. 7 words or less for each topic, and please produce as an ordered list. So um, you can see that now here are some blog topics that may be helpful for Generate Design. Um, let's just pick one at random. Uh, Building trust through cohesive design strategies. That sounds pretty good. 21. Okay, yeah. Um, please create a 1,200 word blog post from number 21 above with headlines, subheads, and a bulleted list. Um, please write this as a designer with 20 years of experience and working, and write this for a medium-sized business that wishes to grow to enterprise level in the next 2 years. Okay, so here you go, building trust through cohesive strategies. And it's just going to go down through here, and you can see it's not writing very much, so you may want to go in and adjust it, or you may want to go in and ask it to write more. You just say, please expand that article to 3,000 words. Um, no new headlines or subheads, just expand the content, please. And you don't have to say, please, it's a machine, but it just seems nicer. To me, it seems nicer. So you can ask it to kind of go through here, and you can see that within a couple of minutes, we've been able to identify topics that may work within the Generate Design blog. We've been able to come up with content, and is this any good? Please have somebody read it before you do so, but you could easily see that this might go somewhere very quickly. Um, excuse me. So 2 other things that would be very, very helpful here. So 2 other things that would be really, really helpful here is if you are working with a client and you might just want to say like, I am working with an investment banking client and I need to create a uh, I need to create a website um, that will create a feeling of professionalism. Uh, Please suggest um, any individual pages that would be helpful for investors. And then we just want to go ahead and add in here, um, before you produce anything, please ask me any questions that will help you to provide this list of investor-based web pages. And let's get rid of investor base in case it gets confused. So who's the audience? What are their services? What is the brand images? What are the content and the features that we want? Is there a competitor website or an analysis that we can provide? And you can see that these questions would be really, really helpful. Um, and I'm just going to lie. Not at this time. Okay. And then it will go through here and just kind of do its best. Clearly there are things that might be very helpful for us and things that might not. Um, I don't know any investment companies off the bat, maybe Hatteras, it's hard to tell. But you could see that this could really go somewhere. If you are asking, once you answer these questions for it, um, it can very well do its best to come up with the kind of answers that would be very helpful for you. Um, so just to kind of bring this together, there's one last thing that I want to kind of touch base on. But imagine, if you would, that you are working with a new company and the new company really wants you to come up with social media, or they want you to come up with some new ideas about what would be great print mailer headlines. How do we grab people's attention? You want to bring all this to the table. Um, Using ChatGPT to help you, I wouldn't use it as the only resource that you go to, but you could tell how this might speed things up, just to have extra ideas brought to the table that would help you get there. It's not the end all be all, but it is going to become the new normal. Getting AI to help you out with your everyday tasks. You could imagine how long it might take you to come up with 4 months of social media posts, but if you could turn around and use ChatGPT to give you 300, 400, 700 um, possible, you know, possible headlines that you come up with, that could be very, very quick and easy. Um, Members of your team may be using Canva, and Canva has a bulk create function that allows you to use a series of images and use a Excel sheet full of content, and one at a time. It takes one line of the Excel sheet and one image, puts them together, and then does the next and the next and the next. You could imagine if, while one person was knocking out 700 of these words and breaking it down into 52 quality headlines, one a week for a year, another person might be going to unsplash.com or pexels.com or pixabay.com, or whatever system your team is using for stock imagery. If they were to pull down 52 pictures of awesome cars with great car washes and settle down into 52 headlines, or if you could do 100 and 100, You can also use InDesign's variable data feature. The one that allows you to print a postcard with a different person's address every time it runs through the printer. You can use that to grab one image out of a folder of images and one headline out of a text document. And just like that, you can produce 50 Instagram posts already preset in InDesign at 1080 by 1080 with a large background graphic and dumping your headline right into that spot, item after item after item. Setup might take you 5 minutes. Running that presentation in InDesign or through bulk create with Canva might take you 5 or 10 minutes. But at the end of those 20 minutes of work, you can turn around and have one Instagram post every single week for an entire year, or two a week for an entire year. So it all kind of becomes a question of, if you've got the time to use this to make something fun and workable, can you also use it as a powerful time-saving device and use that to make money? Um, Granted, it's still going to take time. The headlines that come out are not going to be winners. Some of them are going to be better set if you say, these 9 words are not very good. Let's break it down into these 4 or 5 words. And ChatGPT will never be as smart as a human. But it is faster. It can be cheaper, but it can be able for you to bill the same amount and get the work done faster. So these are a couple of quick things that you can use it for. It's really helpful in putting together content for websites. It's good for writing. It's good for headlines. It's good for generating ideas. It still needs a human to do its job, but I hope that you have found this helpful. I will go ahead and send everybody the list of prompts that I used here so you can play with this on your own at home. And I hope you find this helpful. Thanks. Bye, y'all.